This is figure 3-92 on page 90 of Mechanical Drawing Textbook. This is a telephone dial that we're going to create. And there's a few things you need to know about this. We're going to go back and use some polar coordinates to enter these lines. I'll show you an easy way to use those. Also, you have to center this text within these circles, and I'll show you an easy way to center the text on this circle using a rectangle. So let's go ahead. Now, I've already created 3 lines. You have this outer line, which is 3 inches in diameter, this inner line, which is a 1.5 inch diameter, and then this red line right here, that's an extra one that we're going to delete. That's a center line. That's 2 1/4 inch diameter. I've also created these. I've also created 2 lines here, one 15 degrees up from this line right here, and one 30 degrees away from that line. So I've already created those, and how I do those is I come down, I right mouse click on my polar tracking and select settings, and in the drafting setting box you want to make sure, if yours isn't like this, that you click new on the new button and type in 15, and make sure you select it up here as the increment angle, so your screen should look like what I have up here. Make sure 15 is selected, and you may have to create that by clicking new and just type in 15, press enter. Obviously mine already exists, so it's not going to let me do it, and make sure yours is selected. Click OK, and I'll show you how to use that. Again, each one of these numbers is 30 degrees away, so I'm going to click the line tool. I'm going to make sure my polar tracking button is on. Also make sure that I have the end point, center point, and intersection O-snap tools on. So I'm going to click a line. I'm going to come here and notice my angle. It says 0.158 less than 105. I'm looking for 135 here. This is 180, minus 15, this would be 165, minus another 30 would give me 135. So I come up here to this intersection, click on it. Right mouse click, select repeat line. I got to do this over and over again. Okay, so this is, again, 30 from 135 is going to be 105. And I have to do this 10 times, one for each number. Now I'm going to go ahead right here. I'm going to create my circle at this intersection. These circles inside are 1/2 inch diameter. There's 10 holes of them. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to create a circle. And I'm going to click right there on that intersection. I'm going to make it 1/2 an inch. And now I can get rid of this line. All right, and now I'm going to use my rectangle tool, and I'm going to create, well, I'm having some issues here. Turn off tangent and turn on quadrant. I'm going to make 2 rectangles. And a 3rd rectangle to cover the entire piece. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete those inner 2. So I'm left with a circle with a square over top of it. Now in your text tool, your multi-line text tool, we're going to center that text on top of that circle. Alright, so I'm going to click this line, and I'm going to window from the upper left-hand corner of that rectangle down to the lower right-hand corner. And now you see that my text formatting tool comes up. I'm going to type in the letter 1, the number 1, and you notice it's in the upper left-hand corner. Well, we got to fix this. We got to come up to the middle. I want to put it in the middle of that text box. So I click that. I also am going to center it. So I'm going to come over to the left and click on this button. See, my number 1 is centered. Now it's perfectly centered in my telephone dial. I highlight that 1. I think we've been using about 0.3. 0.3 should work. change that. Make sure you highlight the number or it won't change. And now you can come in and you can choose different types of text size. It's up to you what you want to choose. The one in the book is actually Arial Black. So I'm going to find Arial Black. I'm going to select it, and you see my number turns big and fat like the one in the book. Now I simply come to my copy objects. I'm going to copy this rectangle, circle, and number. I didn't get a hold of it. Hold on a second. I'm going to copy that object, and I'm going to specify that center point right there as my base point. And now I simply come around and I can copy it to all my different intersections on my telephone dial. Obviously, I'm going to stop short here. And let you finish up. And in order to change this, you just highlight on the text box and change it from 1 to 2. Like I said, you can change it from 1 to 2. Well, mine's not working. I'm going to skip that one. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. And you can see when you're done, you can go back and delete those squares. Delete these lines. And delete this center line until you're left with something like this, only this will be 3, my fault. You can see where I'm going with this. What I just didn't do is I just didn't do the bottom. And I'm going to let you finish this up. You can finish that on your own. Just make sure your telephone dial is located in your description. Save it as first initial, last name 3-92. If you need any help finishing this up, let me know.